This is Dolynny TV, ladies and gentlemen. Good afternoon, and welcome back to another edition of Edmonton Oilers discussion here on the channel today. And we are officially less than 24 hours from the opening of free agency, and the Edmonton Oilers hopefully getting that makeover that so many of us Oilers fans, I don't know where I was going with that. I don't know. But so many of us are hoping for a lot of big things here in free agency. The cat jumps down. Let's focus in. Let's get this going. So free agency opens tomorrow morning. Tyson's got to work. That's no big deal. We'll get to it just like we got to it on day 2 of the draft yesterday. All in all, as long as something gets out, it's better than nothing. So, my friends, big day tomorrow, yes. And there's one last name I would like to discuss because he just became available for this July 1st on October 9th tomorrow. And that would be Kyle Turris, all right? So I haven't heard anything official when it comes to Kyle Turris and the Edmonton Oilers, but Kyle Turris is exactly what the Edmonton Oilers are seeking on the third line. All right, yes, obviously my stated preference, if we were signing Jesse Puljujärvi, is Mikko Koivu. While my stated preference here is now going to be Kyle Turris, because this is the best available situation we have to us in the free agent market if the Oilers choose to go that route. Kyle Turris bought out by the Nashville Predators after his, 30-point season in a total of, get this, in a total of 31 points in a total of 62 games played. And they bought him out. He was earning pretty big contract, I believe. Yeah, he was earning a $6 million deal for the past couple of seasons there in Nashville, but now, you know what? He is going to cost the Nashville Predators $2 million against the cap all the way to 2027. So Kyle Turris, you can expect he'll reasonably be coming in somewhere below $4 million. And for a third-line center, that's not realistically too much money to spend, especially if we start talking about $2.8 million against the cap for a free agent third-line center of Kyle Turris's caliber, right? In a flat cap world, that's what we're talking. Is Kyle Turris normally probably would be looking to get that full salary of about $6 million, so he'd probably sign for $4 million. But in a flat cap world, if the Oilers can come out the top bidder at 2.8, they can solve a lot of problems within the structural components of the lineup by adding a right shot Kyle Turris as the third line center, right? Obviously right there, yes, you're adding Kyle Turris, but as a third line center, if Oilers fans can keep realistic expectations in check, Kyle Turris is the premium third line centerman we have been looking for 4 years. 30 years old, so a more veteran body, a guy that can play the NHL style right out of the gate, a guy that's 6'1", 190 pounds, a guy that can get the job done at the NHL level, and especially somebody who's gone all across the board in his career, a guy that can definitely get the job done in a third line role. So you sit here and look at what he's done. He's gone from the Arizona Coyotes to the Ottawa Senators to then the Nashville Predators, and then signed the contract extension with Nashville. He's been a guy who has never historically put up just crazy amounts of points. Obviously the highest of his career, that 64-point campaign back in 14-15, but he's scored 20 goals a couple of times. He's been a guy that consistently gets a good amount of goals per season, right? We're talking minimum in the past several years. We're talking, where are we? We're talking minimum is 7 back in 18, 19, 23 points in 55 games. Yes, it looks like he's played a couple seasons down due to injury. I couldn't find exactly anything before it was time to get this video up. But you see, even 67 points in 182 games in Nashville, that's not the end of the world, because you look at that, yes, you can talk about him regressing, whatever you want. 102.80 CPA, let's go here. You're still talking 30 points a season out of Kyle Turris. And my friends, if you start talking 80 or 30 points out of a third line centerman for the Edmonton Oilers, suddenly we're cooking with fire, all right? We do not get that very often, if at all, right? It's the big panic about Ryan Strome not getting any points, what led to the Ryan Spooner trade. And, well, you know what? That didn't work out. So now, if you can all of a sudden take for granted the fact that 30 points is an incredible number, that's good. That's good because 30 points would be an incredible number to get out of a third line centerman on the Edmonton Oilers. That would be right up there in top 10 team scoring for the Oilers. So, I mean, there's that. So, Kyle Turris, let's flash those graphics one more time. I just want to make a point here. He's not exactly a big body that's going to throw the hits. It looks like he's a guy that throws maybe a total of 25 to 40 hits a season. That's not going to be game changing, but as a third line centerman, if you line him up with Jesse Puljujärvi to start the season, you know what? Yes is a big kid. Get him out there. Get him physical. Get him shooting the puck. Kyle Turris, you saw those numbers. He's good at passing the puck. Set Jesse up and let's go. Whether you agree Jesse needs to be with McDavid or on the third line, you need a good passer. Same with Mikko Koivu to feed Jesse Puljujärvi. So either way, like I said, the structural components of this lineup needs a good, strong right-hand shot third line centerman. And my friends, that is Kyle Turris. Now, Kyle Turris, obviously, 30 years old too. Well, he's been on some playoff runs in his career as well. So that's where you need to keep that in mind too, is he's a guy that's been to the playoffs in 19-20, 18-19, 17-18, 16-17, 14-15, missed a year with the Senators in 13-14, was there back-to-back seasons in 11-12, 2013, and of course 10-11. So the guy's been in the playoffs more times than 90% of the Oilers that played in 19-20 can count. All right, that's honestly, you add up a lot of guys. Kyle Turris got pretty much a lot of playoff experience that could come in very, very handy for the Edmonton Oilers next season. Yeah, sure, no real big numbers, like we're talking maximum numbers for Kyle Turris in the playoffs, 19 games played, but still 70 games of NHL experience. Yeah, sign me up for a right-hand shot centerman that has that and has the qualifications, the capabilities, and the abilities of Kyle Turris, because this is exactly what you're looking for. And in the flat cap world, this is the perfect storm for the Oilers to capitalize on a player that's been bought out, needs a new contract, needs a team that wants him to succeed as much as he wants to succeed, and needs a team that's going to pay him a decent chunk. And the Oilers are that team. We're looking, guys, actively. The Oilers are actively seeking a third line centerman, and Kyle Turris checks box 1, box 2, box 3, box 4, box 5, box 6, box 7, box 8. And even if you're putting up a fight that 30 points in 82 games isn't good enough for a third line centerman, you know what? Screw your ex. It's a check mark. 30 points in 82 games as the third line centerman on the Oilers. Big old green check mark right there. Gets the job done. And all of a sudden, yeah, you line him up with Puljujärvi and you start talking about Puljujärvi shooting the puck. Suddenly it's 25 assists, 30 assists, and that's just assists for a guy like Kyle Turris and the third line of the Edmonton Oilers. So there's a lot to be gained here by going after Kyle Turris in free agency, and I think, honestly, late to the punch maybe, but this is a move the Oilers have to pursue. You want to bark at Ken Holland. If he misses out on Kyle Turris in free agency, that one hurts, because Kyle Turris, he's played in a small Canadian market like Ottawa. He knows what it takes to get the job done at the NHL level, making it to the playoffs how many ever times. Being bought out now after a little bit of failure at 30 years old, well, you know what? Now it's time to show and prove. And Kyle Turris, the Edmonton Oilers, that is the perfect place to do it. That is 100%. I don't see how there's anything to go wrong here. Yes, you can probably tell me, Tyson, this is another sign of veteran for a third line role and his career comes to completely die. Well, I'm sorry. If you're getting bought out of a $6 million deal at 30 years old, your career's already died once. So this is a revival. This is what we're talking. Reviving Kyle Turris and making him back to that capable player he can be, whether it be a 1 or 2 year deal at $2.8 million. Get us through, get us deep into the playoffs once or twice, whatever the contract length tells him to do. And then hopefully that elevates Jesse Puljujärvi to the first line, and everything is sunshine and rainbows, and the Edmonton Oilers lift a Stanley Cup next year. This is one of those moves, if made, will allow the Oilers to do that. 1 year 2.8, 2 years 2.8, I don't care. 2.8 against the cap, that's about the max I think the Oilers can go for a guy like Kyle Turris. But of course, I mean, it realistically depends what other moves they can make between now and signing said guy like Kyle Turris. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Tyson. This is Dolynny TV. Thank you so much for tuning in today. We got a lot to get through tonight, and we will hopefully get through it. Next up, Olivier Rodrigue and his loan over to the Austrian League. I am up on out of here.